and welcome to UC Today. I'm Tom Wright and I'm delighted to be joined by Johan from Destiny. How's it going, Johan? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Going great, thanks.
Good. It's great to talk to you. It's a really interesting topic we're discussing today. It's the importance of mobility for service providers. But to start with, perhaps you could give us a quick overview of your role at Destiny first.
So I work as the Chief Product Officer for Destiny for Service Providers. So I am responsible together with my team to drive the product development for Destiny for Service Providers.
Great, and I'm sure it's been a busy time for you, particularly over the last couple of years as the way we've worked has changed. And obviously a big part of that is businesses looking to support hybrid and mobile working. So I wonder if you could talk through what you're seeing in the service provider world and what they need to consider to make sure their portfolios are available to cater for this need.
Well, the world has changed, and I think we're all aware of that. And one of the major changes that we've been seeing the last year, I would say, we've seen it for a while, especially in the Nordics. In the Nordics, we've seen the mobility trend for 20 years, but now we're seeing it in more and more in other parts of the world, in Europe and in North America, especially. We're seeing a change in how companies look at hybrid working and mobile working. Of course, accelerated by the pandemic, but we've seen an even more acceleration in the last year, I should say. And I think it stems from that expectations are increasing, both from customers. Customer expectations are increasing, but also employee expectations are changing and increasing. So in the future now, this old traditional response of like, I'll get back to you when I'm back at my desk because I've stepped out for a while, that's not going to be acceptable anymore. I think that the demands are changing, and they're changing rapidly. So you will have to be able to, for example, communicate with your customers in a professional manner when you're on the go, when you're out traveling or you stepped out of the office. And I think from the employee perspective, the expectations are also changing. People are expecting to be able to set up a life where there's good work-life balance, to be able to be a bit flexible on the working hours, to be able to do their job properly when out traveling, and in general just being able to work more where they are, to have that flexibility in life, and companies need to adapt to that. So mobility is going to be increasingly important for service providers. An important part when I think about mobility, when we think about mobility, is what we call native mobility. Having an app on your mobile is great and a good companion to mobility, but you really need what we call a native mobile integration or native FMC. It just needs to work in your phone. You need to be able to use your phone in the same way you've always used it. Going to the native dialer or using your traditional contact list in order to make and receive calls. So the native part, creating a native mobile integration, is going to be key, because I'm a firm believer in if it's not native, it's not used. Other important aspects, when thinking about this is of course the security and the reliability aspects. I mean, obviously, it's going to be crucial as we see the world changing, right? We get more and more cybersecurity threats, cybersecurity attacks. So it needs to be secure. It needs to be well thought through, and cloud is secure. But as a service provider, it's important to investigate and really understand the cloud services you use, so you really understand and can ensure that they are secure. Reliability is also going to be important. Might be, maybe not the most exciting topic, but it is important. If your stuff doesn't work, you can have all the features in the world. You can have the coolest, AI-driven technology in the world, but if it doesn't work, if you can't rely on it, it's not worth anything. So having the reliability is also going to be key. I think expanding on this, the having a mobile first approach is going to be key, but just being mobile is not going to cut it. You as a service provider, you need to think about the relevance. Do I have the right things in place? Do I solve the right customer problems? Am I adding value today? And do I have a plan, maybe together with my partner, on making sure that the stuff is future-proof? Are we keeping an eye on today? Are we keeping an eye on tomorrow? This also goes into, I think, especially on the future-proofing part of it, and was a crucial component in creating a great customer experience and solving the right problems is, lack for a better word, integratability. Like, things need to work together. Things are we're seeing a convergence in the market. There's tons of applications out there. They all need to work together. And that's why we have one of our key product principles at Destiny is that we play well with others, and we make sure our systems play well with others, and build it in an architecture that enables these type of integrations. Another important part is that you think about and you commercialize things in a good way. So if you found the right customer problems to solve in a good way, you also need to think about how you commercialize it. So we tend to think about this in I'd say 2 dimensions. So one is modularity. Everyone's not going to want the same type of functionality or products. Some products are going to be more important for certain customers, less important for others. So the way we build our product platform, and what we also recommend the service providers to think around, is to create a modular portfolio. So you can have customers starting in one place and then grow with the company, with the service provider over time, add more functionality, adapt functionality. And it's also important that you do it in a mass customizable way, so you scale, so you can bring the volumes that you want. It's also the other part of it is the bundling perspective of this. It's important that you have an ecosystem and also BSS stack and a self-service stack that enables you to bundle, so you can make relevant bundlings. We're seeing these trends in several different areas in the world of hyper personalization or at least personalization. In order to increase your chances of commercial success, you need to be able to bundle things in a way that feels relevant for the customers out there. Another important part of bundling and a modular ecosystem is that you from the beginning think about upsell paths. So if you start a customer on, for example, an analytics solution, that you have a path on how you would be able to add integrations on top of that, and how that should work together. And maybe you then add, UCaaS as a third step into that. So you think through, like, what type of commercial customer journeys do we want to be able to offer to the end market? The last thing that I think is important to think about is brand. Differentiation is getting harder and harder in general in the world, in all the industries and segments. It's easier and easier for competitors to catch up on technology. Differentiating on price is doable, but hard. So what we're seeing is that more and more companies levitate to the holistic customer experience as their differentiation, and that includes service providers. They need to be able to compete on a holistic customer experience, and I think the brand part of it, and a lot of service providers have done a great job over the years and have a really strong brand. So leveraging that and connecting a great holistic customer experience closer to your brand and including it in your brand promise is going to be important. So in order to differentiate over time, it is important to keep building your brand.
So I think there really is a lot for service providers to think about here. There's obviously the changing demands of their customers, of their potential customers, the evolving technology, but also how they actually commercialize this technology. So it'd be great if you could talk through what you're doing at Destiny to help service providers deal with quite a lot of the opportunity, but also the challenges you've just described.
So the way we've tried to build it is to build a portfolio or a product ecosystem. We've built it in 5 different areas. So we have a business communication area, more or less traditional UCaaS. We have a business analytics product area. We have a business integration product area, a customer engagement area, and a digital enablement area. So what we've built is a modular ecosystem where you can select your starting point as a service provider. So some customers you might want to have a UCaaS first approach with. You want to start with acquiring customers based on a UCaaS proposition. Other customers might be more interested in a different starting point, say Teams integration. We have, for example, our product Call to Teams that integrates the Teams world with the kind of PBX world or the UCaaS world. That could perhaps be a great starting place and then provide an upsell journey by adding analytics and then selling the service providers, branded UCaaS service as the third step. In order to tie this all together, what we call digital enablement, our 5th area, is, we believe, key in order to make these journeys happen, but also to fulfill the customer needs out there. So we work, we try to more or less build, I'd say, 3 main interfaces, or one is the end user interface. We call our core product Connect Me, but fully brandable and white labelable, so forth. So the end customer wouldn't see Connect Me. They would see a fully branded service provider UI that is modern, easy to use, where we enable all of this different functionality in the ecosystem. So the user only needs one app or one web page, one interface. And depending on their needs, that interface changes, and we add and remove functionality depending on. So if you have a business communication UCaaS solution, you'd see all the relevant UCaaS related stuff. And if you then upsold the customer to also include communication analytics, well, then we'd enable that functionality in that UI too. So having one UI for the users, the end users, really simplifies for the end user. They only need to think about logging into one place, having one app. The second interface is what we call our SMP, our service management portal, which is more or less a self-service portal with different user personas. So it's relevant for the service providers, it's relevant for their channel partners, and it's also relevant for the IT admins at the end customers, where you can configure and set up your system, add, remove users, but also, and very importantly, add new services. So we're building a digital upsell system, or a digital upsell paths for the service providers. Traditionally, at least that's what they tell us, upselling has been a struggle for service providers. So they're really, really good at acquisition of new customers and keeping those customers, but creating an upsell path where you drive RPU expansion over the contract period is a challenge. And we firmly believe that we can help the service providers with this by providing digital tools to drive, digital first upselling. So we have a pretty broad portfolio. We have our business communications with our UCaaS. We have our analytics stack where we traditionally have been very strong on voice analytics, where we support a variety of different platforms, and we add new platforms that we support monthly to this platform. We're moving now towards digital also, or almost digital first. Voice communication is important and will continue to be important, but we are seeing a change. We are seeing communication move over to more digital channels, and we support them today, and we plan to support that over time. What we're also seeing is that we're moving from quantitative analytics, how many calls did you have, how long was your waiting time, that sort of thing, to more qualitative analytics. What was the customer perception after talking to your customer service representatives? What are they talking about? And what can we learn from those conversations? On the business integration side, our biggest products within that area is called to Teams, which is a very big product for us, a huge success. We also have what we call Carrier Automate, our platform where we help service provider get onboarded to Microsoft Operator Connect, and where we also support WebEx and Zoom integrations to efficiently manage these type of integrations towards the platforms for the service providers. And of course, CRM integrations. We have strong offerings within this area as well. The fourth area is customer engagement. Traditionally called CCaaS. We think it's more. We have a slightly different approach to it. We're not building a separate CCaaS system that you add on top of your UCaaS. We want to integrate it natively into the interfaces where the users work every day. Some people call it informal contact center. We have the approach that we want to make it simple. There shouldn't be a need for an onboarding project or an integration project. It should just work. It should work with your voice channels. It should work with your digital channels, and help the agents or the people, taking these requests. It should help them to work in an efficient manner, but it also needs to help the people seeking help in a customer service situation to get high quality, efficient interaction. That was a lot of information, perhaps, but a lot of exciting areas.
Yeah, we've covered a lot today. It is an exciting area, as you say. I think it would be nice, actually, with a final question, just to wrap it all up a little bit and perhaps look to the future. I wonder if you could pick out some of the products you think are going to be particularly important in 2024 for enabling the mobile workforce.
Well, I think also not only 2024, but looking forward, it's important that you think mobile first. And obviously, that comes then kind of leads you directly into FMC, fixed mobile convergence, native mobile integrations. I think that's going to be crucial in the next couple of years in order to ensure relevancy for the mobile and the hybrid workforce. And what those changes we're seeing in the market, mobile first is going to be crucial. Destiny today powers over 2 million FMC users. So we've done it for a while, and we're still, updating our approach, upgrading our platforms and the feature sets, and making it simpler to use. But I'm a firm believer in that we are going to see a huge uptake in mobile users moving forward, and that's all well and good when you have that mobile integration. But you also need to think about that you have the tools that support this type of working. So we talked earlier about traditional voice, and traditional voice is still important. and it's going to be important for the next couple of years as well. So it's important that you have a UCaaS solution, for example, that really is built mobile first, that really works well on the mobile, so it feels like a native, fully integrated mobile experience. And you are going to need the tools to handle your external communication and internal collaboration. And even though traditional voice is still important, it's important that you think about that you have a system that also supports the ways of communicating that is now that we're now seeing to ramp up. So it's important that you have tools that support omni-channel experiences, that you're able to work well with digital channels. It's also important that speaking about internal collaboration, it's important that you have a solution that for some use, some parts of your market segments, they'd be fine with using, a good, solid internal collaboration tool included in your UCaaS, for example. But you also need to think about that you work in a way that enables you to integrate with Microsoft Teams, WebEx, those type of systems, so that you can stay relevant for the users today and tomorrow. And speaking on integrations, an integrated experience is going to be key. So you are going to have to use a platform or in our case, a product ecosystem that is built to integrate in a good way, because you are going to have to weave in other applications in your end user experience. Make sure that your CRM integration works with the CRM systems that people use out there. And I think you need to think about it in two ways. One is the kind of traditional CRM integration that we've done as a business for a lot of years, where you an example, you have an incoming call and you fetch information from the CRM, and you during that call and after that call you have the possibility to input information into that CRM. And I also think it's important that you think about it the other way around as well, that you have users that will work in the CRM or their customer support application or wherever it might be as their primary UI. And your stuff needs to work with that use case as well. You need to enable the users to start communicating from Salesforce, for example, that they don't have to switch applications. UX, UI excellence is going to be crucial. Your applications are, it's just a necessity. They have to be easy to use. They have to have a modern look and feel. They have to have native workflows, and the customer journeys need to feel natural and native. And looking also further, I can't really look into the future without talking about AI probably. And having AI-powered tools, having AI to support the users, the customers, and the customers of the customers is going to be important. It's going to be important to be data-driven. You need to be able to help companies drive their business based on data. And we're doing our part there by providing a lot of data around and insights based on this data around the communication side of it. And I mean, AI is today, especially generative AI, it's an efficiency play, right? So that kind of ties in really well with what I kind of see the service providers and us supporting the service providers, what they need to do. When I think about, what's relevant today, tomorrow, I kind of have two core pillars that I think around. So one is, it's a product needs to be able to drive internal and external efficiency. People need to be able to save time, do more with the same or fewer resources. And the second pillar is that it needs to drive an improved customer experience to help companies differentiate. And AI plays really well into that, right? It helps you save time, become quicker, more relevant, improve your quality. It provides assistance both to the customers and the customer service representatives, for example. And I think the next step after that is automation, that you automate away things that don't really add value, that you need to do, but doesn't really add value. And that helps drive not only customer experience, internal efficiency, but it also drives employee engagement. Because think about it, if we can, go out there and help automate away the tedious tasks that really doesn't bring you joy every day as an employee, when we help take that away, your employee engagement is going to go up.
Yeah, there really is a lot to think about here. I think it's going to be interesting to see how mobility underpins the channels we use, but then also it goes beyond that to AI and automation, as you've just discussed. So we've covered a lot of ground, Johan, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a share on social media, and we'll see you next time.